Right, hello guys. What is up? This is Wade back here. Right, so today we'll be going back to Honkai Star Rail to address a really obvious issue that I believe most free-to-play players already experience. All right, which is a thing called power creep. Right, so power creep is actually a pretty obvious sign in most gacha games, especially if a gacha game that is like running for over a very long time. All right, so what is power creep to be exact? So, power creep is where a character has better power value compared to a certain character, or specifically an old character. So the power creep can be actually seen as like pretty obvious. Okay, so the idea of me making this video is on January 9, I saw a drama online somewhere, alright, and it got me like to actually have the chance to say this as a free-to-play player since version 1. Alright, specifically 3 days after the launch of Honkai Star Rail. Like, I was not a beta player, I'm just an average enjoyer. But after I watched the whole drama, there's a few things I actually have to say. Alright, so power creep, first of all, it is a thing, and it's a pretty obvious like sign, especially when you are playing a gacha game. So a few of the very basic examples that from the gacha I'm playing is first of all Honkai Star Rail, secondly Honkai Impact Turret, and thirdly on a mobile game called Tower of Saviors. Okay, so these three games are one of the few like power creep gacha games that I actually played recently. So how does power creep actually works in these few games is actually technically almost the same. Alright, I'll tell you how it works. So how it works is actually they release a new character, and the old character is completely like the new character is completely a different level compared to the old character. So the best example is um for now I would say it's actually Rappa. Alright. Rappa compared to Firefly. So I know this is going to stir up a really big wave of conversation and everything, but just a comparison. Okay, don't make it too far. Right. So how power creep is Rappa compared to Firefly? So what Rappa can do, Firefly can do, and what Firefly can do, Rappa can also do it too. And Rappa's multiplier and numbers are easier to achieve compared to Firefly. I mean, yeah, Firefly is still really strong, really good, but when Rappa comes in, everything just feels differently. Because all you need to do is press one ulti, and then enters the state, 3 turns, and it's all it takes. Like, no skill, no high tech, nothing. Just stats and buttons, that's all. Okay? Compared to like Firefly where you need like a lot of calculation, a lot of everything. Yeah, you technically don't have to do that on Rappa because all you need to do is like stack break effect, stack speed, press ulti, YOLO. That's all. That's how power creep actually works. Or if you want to take an even more obvious example, we can take Rappa and Acheron. So on E0 conditions of both sides, E0 Rappa is better than E0 Acheron. I'm not making this statement like just a random statement or a bullshit. Alright, it's actually pretty obvious, especially when you clear content using Acheron or like Rappa. So you see Rappa is definitely like more efficient and faster compared to Acheron in most situations now, because obviously the MOC and Big Fishing now is kind of like promoting Rappa, but Acheron, when you compare the numbers, specifically numbers, you'll feel like Acheron somehow is no longer that satisfying or no longer that pain compared to Rappa, right? Because what Rappa did is actually like it do super break, at the same time a ton of break damage. So all the numbers just like makes it very insane overall. Yeah, where Acheron is like more like direct damage instead of just like the super break where all the multipliers came in and then you get huge numbers. Acheron just did kind of like a direct damage compared to super break. Right. So how would I say the power crap is obvious? I believe most players, if you play Acheron like me, where you have the signature icon E0 and you don't have a Jiaoqiu, you'll realize something is really, really off, which is the character damage is kind of low. Like her damage, you'll see Acheron's damage will be kind of low. That's the first thing. And secondly, you'll find out that she clears extremely slow compared to the previous versions, right? So how this thing actually happened is because enemy HP inflation. So this is one of the most direct way to like differentiate power creeps between character. So just an example from Tower of Saviors. All right, everything in the beginning of 2024, which is last year, is extremely fine. Everything is just normal. Every multiplier, every number is normal until mid-year, somewhere in June or somewhere in May, I forgot. It's somewhere in mid-year where they collab with Hell's Paradise, which is an anime, and that is where that moment went insanely like out of control because they multiply the enemy HP to like trillions, I think. Yeah, they multiply all the enemies from HP from billions to trillion. So example, what we have like in mid-year is actually like maybe before mid-year of 2024 in that game, we have like 1 trillion or maybe like 2 trillion. But when it comes to that collab, the highest HP enemy went is 149 trillion. So that is where power creep come in, and because only the grand prize of the collab can clear that level, and that is where the fire started burning about power creep. Because it is extremely unfair, especially when you are playing a gacha game. So in gacha game, we all know like every new version there's going to be better characters. Okay, not better, but maybe a slightly different unique character. Or maybe like a stronger character as in like different kind of mechanics. So before like Firefly was released, everyone's basic like mindset is either like I can play DOT passive damage, or I can play something like Acheron, Danheng IL, Jingliu, or Blade, which is direct damage, and maybe sometimes I follow up ultimate damage or whatever it is. But those are direct damages. Okay, but after the introduction of Firefly, which is Super Break, everything goes like extremely wrong because Super Break is like so much easier to achieve the numbers and kill the enemy compared to like the old characters. So we all know the pain of old characters, which is besides their multiplier, alright, their mechanics and kits are not enough to fulfill the current game environment. So the current game environment is like it's either you go Super Break, or you play a Facial, or you play Acheron. It's Acheron. Or you play Acheron. Yeah, dot is not a thing. Dot is a thing, but when you need to have like really really good investments in it. All right, and yeah, that's like how the game is actually forcing you and guiding you to a certain path, right? So for example, Facial is follow up plus ultimate damage, so the whole team will be surrounded around follow up like Topaz, Moze, and maybe Robin. All right, so that's one path like the game wants you to play. So second, it will be Super Break like Boot Hill, Rappa, and Firefly. Okay, so these characters are Super Break, and the team you need them will be like Harmony, which is Rame, and maybe like Harmony Trailblazer or Fugue. Okay, and lastly is Gallagher. Alright, or maybe Aventuring. Depends on your kind of sustainability. Right, so that's two ways, and the last one will be Acheron because she's still standing now. Okay, so anything like any game environment that exists, you can just put this tree inside, and you will solve like majority of the content. But what happened now is, as I mentioned previously, if you're Acheron player, EOS1, alright, and you don't have a Jiaoqiu, you realize like she is incomplete in a way. Even though if you have like two nihility units in the team, you still feel like something is off. Like whether from numbers or whether from how fast she can gain her ulti stacks. So that's how it works for the current environment. I mean, yes, Acheron can still can clear, but in my personal opinion, I've been like got her since her first banner, signature Lycom plus herself, and I'm still E0, so this is like the best example for people who doesn't pull her cons. Yeah, she is falling off. The dead honest thing, she is falling off compared to like all the new rising DPSs like Firefly, Fake Xiao, and Rappa. Boot Hill is a different case because this man is single target. Yeah. So when you want to compare like multiplier, so we have Facial's ulti which is like 402 and 402 plus 96 which is like 498. Like we don't want to calculate the other things. We just calculate like 496. Yeah. Um yeah, that's it. So 496 compared to Acheron. So Acheron is yeah, this one 372 and 672. Yeah, 672 and like 20 24 I usually give out multiplying, but overall Acheron is higher, but it comes with one serious issue, which is if you don't get stacked fast enough, you can't activate her ulti. But with facial it's technically the same, but what facial have differently is it's as long as your teammates do attack or follow up, you can gain stacks. Follow up attack stacks. Okay, so the team will be like much easier to have against stacks like March 7 or most or Topaz. Okay, depends on it. But for Acheron, it's pain because what I'm still currently using is Acheron Black Swan or either Pella or Green Ivan. Then maybe Aventurine. So that's how my current situation goes. And maybe if you have even better option, you can go like Acheron Black Swan Kafka or Acheron Silver Wolf and like Kafka or Black Swan. Yeah, or the most luxurious option for Acheron is Acheron Jiaqiu and something else. So for those who don't play, who didn't pull for Jiaqiu, you may start realizing a big problem when you're playing Acheron, which is it's hard for you to get stacks. And by the moment you get stacks, it's probably like already at the end of one cycle. Or like maybe the next cycle. So that's probably like the problem with it. But where like for super break characters is different because they break characters and developers tend to release characters that can help to improve their game experiences. I mean, yes, for Acheron you have Jiaqiu, but overall super break, the game experience is much better compared to Acheron, because Acheron you need time to warm up for the ulti, where super break most of them except for Boot Hill, almost all of them doesn't have like a really long time to warm up. So all Firefly does is when you're playing MOC, you probably go in, skill, and then apply all the buff like Rame skill, Rame ulti, Harmony main character ulti, and then like probably Gallagher ulti or Lingsha ulti. Alright, and then you Firefly just ulti. If the enemy is weakness break, you just all in and enemy will just die. Compared to Acheron where you have to like think 1,000 ways to get help and get stacks. Like if without Jiaqiu ulti, she is still in pain, okay? The only pain disappears when after Jiaqiu ulti. Alright? So that's technically like how fair it is for the power creep to happen. So E0 Firefly can easily do like, if you're really hyper invested in the whole team, not just her, in the whole team, she can probably do like 5, 6, 700k per E skill. Okay? And same goes to like Rappa or Buthu. Yeah, but the way they calculate damage is kind of different. Right? Where Acheron, even though you're hyper invested, you might sometimes still like hit the same damage as an E0 Firefly. Okay, so here is where Power Creep makes it very obvious. The new characters, easier to play, higher numbers, higher multipliers, more fun to play. Where the old characters, it's sometimes some hard to play, alright, and requires some skill, needs a specific unit, Okay, and the other one is just like, yeah, it's just pain. Yeah, overall power creep. Yeah, so power creep happens like patch by patch. It doesn't happen like once, like all at once. Okay, it doesn't happen like suddenly one patch, whoa, the enemy HP rising from 500k to 5 million. No, it actually doesn't. So in 2.0 the enemy HP is like, I believe, less than 1 million or close or around to 1 million, where now in 2.7 we have almost 5 million enemy HP. So you already know how much the inflation has actually gone by versions. So that's why, like, you see when you are using Rappa, a new unit, okay, you can clear somehow faster compared to Acheron, because the game is promoting all the characters they are giving banners to during that time. Alright, so I'm taking a wild guess. Next patch, they will be promoting follow-up attacks. Yeah, I bet that. I only bet that. And that's technically like 50-50. If I win, yeah, then I'm right. If I lose, then it's nothing else probably. Right. So what do I need to say again? Hmm. Yeah, so power creep. Power creep is very obvious, like really fast in these games. Okay, and it's either you do the right investment and put the right thing, or you need to take the pain and clear everything. Yeah, it's not like all DPSs can't clear at all. Yeah, they can clear, but at what cost? Like, you having to tune everything, you having to take all the pains, you having to like need to reset and clear, reset and clear, reset and clear. Yeah, where old characters you can just like have a specific team, and then you need to like clear and go. So that's the biggest issue we have in the current game, and I believe most free to play players already experienced it. It's like a pretty obvious thing, right? I believe most people will be like, I'm starting to feel like 36 MOC 12 is very hard, right? Especially this round of MOC, I believe a lot of players will have realized like something wrong. If you kill the trotters, it somehow decreases the enemy's like max HP by like 5 or 6%. And when you don't kill them, you'll clear so fucking slow, you just feel like throwing your game away. So that's how inflated the HP actually is compared to last MOC. And some people still says this round MOC 12 is easier, where it's actually not. Alright, dead ass, it's actually not. Even though if you see like those zero cycle people on the YouTube, yeah, you need to consider like how many retries or resets they actually did behind the scenes. Because I actually tried making one of those contents before and I gave up because the amount of resets is just insane. And at this point, some people are just going to say like skill issue, right? I mean I have skill issue because the whole point of you pulling new characters, new units, right, is to make your game easier and to make the game faster. Like you clear at a more comfortable state, a faster state, and a more fun state. Alright, compared to using old characters. Alright, like Silly. I pulled her since version 1. Alright, not you. You. Yeah, obtained on 2023rd. May 3rd. Is it May 3rd? Or is it March 5th? Yeah, I actually forgot. Yeah, but whatever, it is there. I pulled her since version 1. I would say version 1, she is god tier. Everyone is like, either you should pull Silly, or you're completely fucked. Because that time the banner is like Silly and Jingyuan. So Silly is one of the unarguably best units in the whole game that time. Okay? Until where power crab starts coming in, like Danheng IL, Blade and Jingliu. That time it's like how crazy it is. Everyone was like hyping for it because their scalings are very very insane. So this is Danheng IL, so this is like at level 10. um where is it? Ah, yeah, right. So this one, at max enhanced basic attack, you get 500% of the multiplier. Alright, so how much is 500%? Direct comparison to Celi's ulti, where she's only 425%. So that's how power creep happens. When a character scaling and numbers are larger than the previous character. So that is where power creep happens. Alright, so some people will start saying, yeah, power creep is not actually a problem. It's more like a you problem. Whenever I hear those comments, I feel like giving them a good freaking slap on their face for not admitting what is actually happened. Alright, or maybe they are just like putting lemon juice or like rubbing salt in other people's wounds. Alright, so is power creep a thing? Yes, and we cannot deny that the fact it happened. Right, and for people who feel like power creep isn't a thing, look at your old like your character data banks. How many new characters do you have? How many eidolons do your character have? And how much do you spend in the game? Are you free to play? Only if you achieve those things, and then only you start thinking that does this actually like, is power creep actually a thing? I would guarantee you 99.99% power creep is a thing when you actually look back into like what you have invested into your account. Because what happened to me is I am extremely lucky. As a free to play, I got a lot of earlies. Alright. So for example, this is guaranteed, Bushi is guaranteed, but his light cone, what I get is like, okay, first is Boot Hill Light Cone. I got this early. Okay, Rame I got it guarantee. Right, and Rappa I got it early also. So 1, 2, and 3, I got it early. And for Ekron Light Cone, I won 50-50. And for Ho-Ho, I also won 50-50. So luck is also one of the key decisions whether power creep really affects you. But overall, in the end, it's all about making the right decision and not making like decisions that are dumb and stupid that can ruin your account. Alright, of course, if you are playing for character aesthetics and like you just like the character, love the character so much, you don't care about end game content like MOC, Pure Fiction, Apocalyptic Shadow, Diverging Universe, or anything. Alright, so whenever you hit power creep, don't complain because you ask for it. Alright, so the only thing that should be affecting like people who actually feel power creep is either you make the wrong investments or you make like the wrong gacha addiction. All right, so how it actually like in like how investment works is um talking about the current meta. All right, so first we have the current meta, which is Acheron. So this is how the Acheron team will actually looks like. So it's either I put any two nihility like who it is, Bella, and then a healer or sustainer like this Adventuring, Bella, Black Swan, and Acheron. So as you can see, I am lacking the key ingredient in this team, which is Jiaoqiu. And without a Jiaoqiu, this team's DPS dropped by a ton amount, alright, making her like so low damage that at certain point it's just pain. Alright, so the only way I actually 36 this round of MOC is because my second team hard carried. By hard carried, I mean like this. Right? Yeah, so this is my current team for the second half. Alright, so how hyper invested I am in this team is I got Rappa and I got her light cone. 0 Eidolons by the way. And for Rame, I got her since her release. And I got her light cone on rerun, and she is E0. And for Fugue, I got her without light cone, but I got her E1 early in 3 pools. So this is how luck and the good investment actually matters, right? Because when a character comes out, you whether I know like watching beta or leaking like watching leaks is against Hoyo verse like policy and rules, but In order to overcome these kind of power creeps, it is necessary for you to dig into beta leagues and like make decisions for a team. So that time Rame's release, I actually went into all the leaks and saw her as a really really good character. Then I directly got her in version like 1.5. Is it 1.5 where Doctor Ratio was released that time? Right. So it turns out I make my best decision ever. Yeah, by just watching a leak because she is still one of the like S tier harmony characters in the whole game with like one of the highest use rates. Right, highest use rates, not higher use rates. Right. So that's how like you need to put effort if you don't want power creep to like hit you too hard. Alright. That time I wasn't like really like paying attention to leaks until like I click in and I saw Rame's mechanics. I was like, damn, such an OP character. I pulled, I proved, and I'm right. So after that, I didn't really like no character actually really inspired me except for like Boothill that time like his leak video went wild on YouTube. Like one shot is suddenly like 500k or something or even more. Yeah, that is that time where this is the only character I start paying attention on like the h.s.r leaks. Right? Otherwise than that, I didn't actually put too much attention on that. And Ho Ho is like I like it so I pull it. So her use rate is like kind of mid for me. Okay. And Robin, I pull her is because one of the main reasons I got Yunli. And I pull Yunli that time is because I think that she's cool. Right. Overall it's just like that. So power creep happens to my account during that time when I have Yunli and I don't have Robin. Because Yunli like all her mechanics and kits normally surround around follow up attacks. So we all know that Robin is specially made for single target follow up attack. Alright, single target plus follow up attack. And how this thing actually benefit me the moment I got Robin, I max her out. I max my pure fiction. That's how crazy it is. Alright, however, I somehow like put Acheron aside and she can still be used. I don't really care about her now. She's just there. She can be used. Alright. So, but if you want to say older characters like Celia, I don't think she's usable now. She is not usable. The only like not usable as in MOC 11 and 12. You'll find agony using her. I'm not joking. Literally agony because the scaling can't keep up compared to what I use all the time like Rappa. Okay, I'm gonna show you how her scaling actually how crazy her scaling actually is. So here, increases weakness break efficiency by 50% and break effect by 30%. So each time target is weakness broken, she gain 1 point and then blah 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 blah. And then this break damage equals to 60% of Rappa's imaginary break damage. So there's 60% of your original break damage. And this damage can ignore weakness type to reduce toughness, consuming all charge. Each point on charge increases the break damage multiplier by 50%. So 50%, let's assume I have 10 charges. It's going to be 500%. And 500% you times with the 60%, you're going to get an insane amount compared to what I actually have. And not gonna mention, with all the other insane buffs from all the other units, alright? So Rappa is extremely insane. Right, where Silly you can do the same, like you put your hyper invested units like E6 Robin, okay, or maybe like E6 Bronya, and maybe like E6 Sunday or something, and you put like some other healer or sustain where there is also E6, then yeah, maybe you can clear, but at what cost? You spending money in the game, E6 all the characters, alright, where what I have is E0S1, E0S1, and E1S0. You see the difference now? Power creep is a very obvious thing because you use lesser investment compared to your old unit, your old characters. I mean, yeah, yes, some people will definitely start saying, bro, you can just upgrade your characters, bro. The pools they give since version 1.0 till now is all the same. You can just upgrade your characters, bro. You don't have to like pull the new units. Let me ask you a question. A really simple question. In terms of a full team like this, if I spend like, for example, this team cost me like, for example, okay, the I didn't actually do the calculations. I'm just going to give a rough number, like 300 pools. No, actually no, 400 to 500 pools. Okay, for this whole team. Okay, 400 to 500. And then you say, bro, just E6 one character lah. No need to be so hard one. Okay, then I E6 an older DPS. Like, I don't want to pick silly. Like, I put Yunli. Okay, Yunli. I hyper invest everything into her. Maybe E6 S5. And then I put one Robin. E0 S0. And then I put Aventurine. Also E0 S0. And then maybe I like pull someone else like Ting Yun or Ho Ho. Alright. So Ting Yun I'll assume like it's E6 S0. And then for Ho Ho I'll assume like it's E0 S0. Alright. Can you still clear? Yeah, but at what cost? Pain. Because it's against meta. When you're trying to go against meta, it's absolutely pain and absolutely junk. So Uni is like E6 SY Uni, you're going to see like, whoa, the numbers are insane. Bro, look at this Uni, like counter attack, like 7 digit, bro, 8 digit. I'm crazy. Yeah, but at what cost, bro? Like throwing all your investment into one character and maybe like just to get power crap after a few patches. Like instead of you like just putting in new units into a data bank and just like use them as it is. So like you need to remember one thing. Okay, this is also one of the lessons I get when I'm playing Tower of Saviors, which is TOS. So you can use old units, yes, but if you say old units are always better, it's completely wrong. Because yes, Eidolons indeed can be upgraded, but remember, every upgrade has its limits. That's why E6 Sile is now not as good as E6 Rappa. And I can guarantee you E6 Rappa might be the meta now, alright? But I can also guarantee you at the same time, in the future, it's still not going to be the meta. That's how brutally honest I am. If you want to play like meta, the first thing you have to kill is your certain love for a certain character. Because this game is brutally honest against like you trying to play Sims. Unless the character you sim for is one of the meta characters, as I mentioned. Alright. So that's technically like what my opinions I have on power creep. Right? Because power creep is not really that serious until recently it brought up as a topic. So I'm standing from my POV as like one of the really nobody cares like YouTube video creator for like some small games. Okay, I have to stand out and make this video. I know this video like some of you might be like, nah, it's just like not not accurate, not important, but we are not going to deny the fact that power creep is happening and you cannot prevent it. The only way you can prevent it is you dig into the leaks. Okay, leaks is one thing. Next, you invest in the right thing. Okay, like for me, I invested in the right thing, like boot here and boot here like cone that makes him playable. Alright, Rappa and Rappa like cone, Rame and Rame like cone. Alright, so and Acheron and Acheron like cone, and Ho-Ho and Ho-Ho like cone. So that makes me like do the right investment, which allows my account to actually clear things now, compared to previously where I cannot. Let me tell you a joke. Before I get like like Robin for Yindi, I can't clear all of my content. All the content you see here, MOC, Pure Fiction, and Apocalyptic Shadow, I can't max star them. This only happens when I start like digging into leaks, okay, checking new characters, and plan for my teams, like whether I should continue to invest in Super Break or whether I should invest in follow up and everything. So as you can see, my account is pretty obvious. I invested in Super Break, alright, and I did the right choice. So I'll have like less pain compared to like people who just like insist on still going on their old characters. Yeah. So that's technically it for this video. Sorry, I got a bit carried away in this video because my mentality state is not really good recently. Yeah, a bit worn out, a bit tired. Yeah, but for those who watched all the way here, thank you very much for spending half an hour watching to this kind of meaningless argument and meaningless content. Right? So if any of you viewers have thoughts or like comments, please leave it in the comment section so we can discuss this issue together. Right? Because it's something that players should be aware of, and it's not a title or a thing that should be hidden from players. Yeah. So that's all for this video, and I will see you guys in the next video, and peace.